Download this code from codegive.com, link in the description below. Certainly. In UiPath, lists and arrays are used to store collections of data. They are particularly useful for managing multiple items, such as strings, integers, or more complex objects. This tutorial will cover the basics of lists and arrays, as well as how to manipulate them using UiPath activities. 1. Understanding arrays and lists. Array. An array is a fixed-size collection of elements of the same type. Once defined, the size of an array cannot be changed. List. A list is a dynamic collection that can grow or shrink in size. Lists are part of the system.collections.generic namespace and can easily be manipulated. 2. Creating arrays in UiPath. To create an array in UiPath, you can do it directly in an assign activity. Example, creating an array of strings. 1. Create a new sequence. Drag and drop a sequence activity into the designer. 2. Add an assign activity. Drag an assign activity into the sequence. Create a variable, example myArray, of type string. In the assign activity, set the value. 3. Loop through the array. Add a for each activity. Set the type argument to string. In the values field, set it to myArray. Inside the loop, add a writeLine activity to output each fruit. 3. Creating lists in UiPath. To create a list, you can use the list T collection. Example, creating a list of integers. 1. Create a new sequence. Drag and drop a sequence activity into the designer. 2. Add an assign activity. Create a variable, example myList, of type list, of integer. In the assign activity, set the value. 3. Add items to the list. Use another assign activity to add an item. 4. Remove an item from the list. Use another assign activity to remove an item. 5. Loop through the list. Add a for each activity. Set the type argument to integer. In the values field, set it to myList. Inside the loop, add a writeLine activity to output each number. 4. Complete example. Here's a complete example that combines both arrays and lists. Steps. 1. Create a new sequence. 2. Create an array of strings. MyArray of type string. Assign. 3. Loop through the array. Use a for each activity to output each fruit. 4. Create a list of integers. MyList of type list, of integer. Assign. 5. Add and remove items. Add 6 and remove 3 from the list. 6. Loop through the list. Use a for each activity to output each number. Summary. Arrays are fixed-size collections. Once defined, their size cannot change. Lists are dynamic and allow for adding and removing items easily. Use for each activities to iterate over both arrays and lists. Use the add and remove methods to manipulate lists. By following this tutorial, you should have a solid understanding of how to use lists and arrays in UiPath, as well as practical code examples to help you get started.